So, ladies and gentlemen, we are having very satisfying results following votes counting after the presidential elections that took place yesterday in Cameroon. Serenity was observed in most of the polling stations, except a few where we saw people reacting to the malpractices that they observed at some of those polling stations, but we can give that a very less percentage looking at the overall behavior. And I say the results are very satisfying because they are favoring the main opposition leader, who, of course, is Issa Chiruma, who was the main rival of the ruling party CPDM, and of course, whose candidate was President Paul Biya in this year's presidential elections. We have seen Issa Chiruma leading in most of the polls, and of course, we are hoping that manipulations will not take place to turn the table around to give a victory or to proclaim President Paul Biya the winner of this year's presidential elections. We have seen this happen in the previous elections, ladies and gentlemen, and Cameroonians always accepted such manipulations. But from the look of things, I think they are not ready to accept any manipulation this time around. Looking at some of the reactions that we saw yesterday from people who observed those malpractices that happened in a few of those polling stations. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Cameroonians have had enough of the manipulation, enough of this failed regime, and of course we are not going to have that continue in that country. We have seen in the diaspora in most of the countries how the opposition, of course we're talking about opposition, we're talking about Issa Chiruma leading in most of the countries in the diaspora, except in a few like Russia, where Paul Biya emerged victorious, and of course UK. That was very shocking to see that in the United Kingdom, Paul Biya emerged victorious over Issa Chiruma, and questions are being asked why or what actually has happened. Maybe some manipulations must have taken place as well over there in those countries, because people cannot really comprehend or understand or accept the fact that in the United Kingdom, CPDM emerged victorious. Back home in the country, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen, amazingly, how even in Yaoundé, places like Yaoundé, most of the polling stations, how Issa Chiruma emerged victorious. We're talking about a hometown of, it might not be directly a hometown, but that is one of the towns of President Paul Biya. We're talking about Yaoundé. That's his area, right? Where he's really seated, although he's coming from originally from the southern region, but he is very much seated and is connected in the center region, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately for him, for most of the polling stations, we saw Issa Chiruma emerging victorious, and this is putting a smile on Cameroonians' faces. This is the moment we have been waiting for, and it is right here. Unfortunately for me personally, I've observed a very bad and unpleasant result from my division, the Coupe Mwaninguba division. Let me start with Tombe, that I wrote something about this morning and expressed my disappointment without knowing that something was going to come from my immediate division. Well, I mean a subdivision, which is Bangen. First of all, in Tombe, we saw how Issa Chiruma really emerged. Is leading or has led the polls right over there, but it was a kind of competitive play between Issa Chiruma and Paul Biya, being almost on the same level of the votes right there. So that's why I expressed disappointment that Paul Biya could not be given those number of votes in Tombe that could project him to a point where he could emerge victorious. One vote counts, and it matters so much. One vote could give somebody a victory over another person. Therefore, I am very disappointed with what I've seen coming from Tombe. As if that was not enough, ladies and gentlemen, when I observed the result from Bangam subdivision, I have shed tears until now. I am so disappointed. We are talking about a division that has no roots, a division that has no electricity, a division that has been abandoned and completely abandoned by the regime in Cameroon, ladies and gentlemen. But we have a manipulative machinery of the CPDM seated in this division and has been manipulating the people for a good number of years to know that Pobia has emerged victorious. I mean, alarmingly victorious, overwhelmingly victorious in Bangam subdivision is so painful and it is unacceptable. Therefore, the Kupe Manigua people must do everything possible to make sure that this machinery of the CPDM that is seated in the Kupe Manigua must be uprooted. It must be uprooted. Yes, it has to be uprooted. Ladies and gentlemen, it cannot continue. We cannot allow that to continue. That manipulation that is happening in Kupe Manigua, made or put in place by the CPM militants who are our own brothers and sisters, cannot continue. Ladies and gentlemen, I said something about the chariot that was organized in Tombel about 2 months ago that was so-called or named the Bakosi Cultural Festival, was a CPDM organized campaign. That was a campaign that was organized even before campaigns were officially opened. So it was coined to be named or to be titled Bakosi Cultural Festival. It was a manipulation. I made a video and I said that was a manipulation and it was a CPDM campaign and nothing else. There's nothing else somebody can tell me about that. And some people came under my post and they were trying to write some things that cultural festival was void of politics. What you don't know is darker than night. That's what I can tell all of you. And the results are here. They were able to convince the chiefs to talk to the people so that they can be in favor of CPDM. And we have seen it. We have seen it. It's glaring. The results are there, and there is nothing else we can say. And to know that people have left themselves to be manipulated this way when we do not have roots under this failed regime for more than 43 years is so pathetic. And we should not let this continue. It is shameful for Kupe Waniguba to bring this kind of result in this presidential election. Shame to all of you. Shame, shame. And people are giving a very good way to respond to this kind of rubbish that is coming from Kupe Waniguba. That it seems like our people back home are very comfortable with their condition. Those poor roads, no electricity, no good medical facilities in our place, yet they are giving votes for the CPDM to still be seated and keep and plunge them in this misery that they have been in for so many years. Therefore, the best response is to not respond or to not positively respond to their demands, especially us who are in the diaspora. That if they ask for something, that's what some people are proposing. That if they ask for something, we should not give them because they are comfortable in their misery. Yes, let CPDM give you all of those things that you need from people, from your brothers and sisters, from the diaspora. It's so pathetic. It's so saddening. I'm weeping since I saw the results. I don't even know where to hide my face. I feel open mop and not fit. Open mop. Let's wait until the results are proclaimed. But this time around, we are not going to accept the manipulation. Like I said in one of my videos a few days ago, Issa Chiroma might not be the best candidate we would have wanted to lead Cameroon at this time, but sorry, he is the better devil that we have now, and we are going for him. We have stood for him, and we have voted for him. We have seen some congratulatory messages coming from some of the top leaders in the world already. An example is Donald Trump, who has sent a congratulatory message to Mr. Issa Chiroma already, and it's going to be permanent. No manipulation will be accepted to this old people, or from this old people in Yaoundé. Their cup is full, and we are not going to have it again. It's over for Ngongo. It's over for the above 80 years leadership that we have in Cameroon. It's over. Edmund from Qatar.